Welcome, everybody, to your WWE Royal Rumble 2025 preview and predictions. Gotta tell you, John, this is a really rare instance. I have to say, I think this is the least that I have looked forward to any Royal Rumble matches in my history watching WWE programming.
Interesting, because there is something about just the gimmick that I think does get me hyped, as I know you relate to that very much. Um, I just hate Cody as world champion, so him as world champion is going to drag down any show for me. I do think this year for me, men's rumble has got me a bit more hyped just because of how fucking stacked it is. However, if your hype comes from predictability, I feel like women's takes it again this year because I personally feel like women's is harder to predict than men's. Men's, I don't know, maybe I'm cynical, but I feel like the winner's pretty straightforward, at least from how I've been watching and really not watching as well, because I know I haven't really been keeping up as well as I should leading up to this. But to get to one of my favorite portions of these, the numerical score, I think I'd give this Rumble hype. I've been oscillating between two numbers, but I think I'm going to go with 8 out of 10.
You are a full point higher than me. I'm at a 7.
And you really weren't kidding when you said this is the least hyped. Okay.
Well, and I'll tell you why too. I have a lot of passion for possibility for both women's and men's rumbles, but, and this is a huge but, passion for possibility could only get you so far when you don't have any level of optimism that the company actually booking the matches sees things the same way. And I think
Yes.
that, and I personally think that both of these Royal Rumbles are extremely cut and dry. And in my opinion, you will see when we get around to our actual predictions, the most likely winners of both Rumble matches are not inspiring to me at all.
Okay. Okay. Well, then I say let's rip the band-aid off. Let's get into these matches that coincide with our Rumble mini game. So, do you want to talk about DIY Motor City Machine Guns 2 out of 3 falls first?
Sure, yeah, that should be pretty quick and easy. For those of you who have never done this with us before or have never been with us while we do this before, we rope my mom into this because she's a huge fan of wrestling and especially of WWE. And we love to really have fun with this game. So that it's not just me versus John one on one, we like to kind of drag her into it, and she plays along as well. She likes to make predictions as well. So she and I have both agreed we both fully expect DIY to retain here.
Yes. Yes, and I'm right there with you. DIY to
Okay.
retain for sure.
All right. Do you have any expectation for like how this match is going to go? Who's going to get which falls? Do you think there's any possibility that DIY might just win 2 falls straight?
No, I do think they'll go to 3 whole falls. I see DIY winning the first fall, and then the
Yep.
scrappy baby faces being Motor City
Yep.
Machine Guns having to fight from behind.
I completely agree.
So they'll win the second, but then
And they'll
DIY
give
will
that'll
cheat
give
to win the
hope
third.
of like, oh man, MCMG, they've got the momentum. They won the second fall. If they could just do it again, and DIY will probably somehow cheat to win the third one.
Exactly. Yeah, I fully expect cheating from DIY to retain the titles for
Yep.
sure.
And it wouldn't even surprise me. You know what? Actually, here's another interesting route that it could go because it's Champa and because I could see him doing this. Maybe they cheat on the first fall to lose by DQ on purpose, but give themselves a quick advantage to get a quick win on the second fall. And then they just immediately go into the third fall with a big advantage because maybe they like use chairs or something to immediately lose the first fall, get the pinfall, and then we're off to the races with the third fall really quickly. And like obviously DIY would have a huge advantage because they would be fresh off of a huge beatdown and getting the second fall, but it's tied at 1.
So like the Brock Lesnar Iron Man match strategy. I like
Yeah,
it. Yeah.
I could
Yeah, we
see
could do it.
that something like that happening too. Those are the
Yeah, all right.
two like possible bookings to me. That's just how I see it.
Absolutely. All right. And then
I think we squeezed about as much as we could out of that match. It's a very uninteresting match to me, but now we get to a match that could be a hell of a lot more interesting if I thought that there was any possible way that this could go a different way. My mom does. My mom actually picked Kevin Owens to win slash retain the WWE Championship in this ladder match. I'm just going with Cody down the line.
I first of all want to say that this is why I love your mom forever, and this is why we're besties because she keeps the hope alive, even when I have none left. I have loved Kevin's work in this, and I said what I said, because Kevin
Yeah.
has been the only thing I've really loved in this. I think Cody is the most insufferable WWE champion that I have gone through in a minute. And he's just so grating every fucking week. Now, where this story gets interesting to me, now not so interesting that I pull a John and like throw a Hail Mary. That actually comes in our Rumble mini game later. Um, which I'll get to. But yeah, I'm curious about this like sub story of Kevin Owens trying to enlist Sami Zayn's help and Sami accidentally hitting haluva kicks on both Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes. I have to wonder, like, is this going to be like a temptation for Sami Zayn because he wants to be a world champion? He wants to be in that main event tier. He's never beaten a guy like Drew McIntyre, and so he's got a lot of frustrations going on. But then I kind of calm myself because I'm like, no, I do think the bigger story here is Orton returns. He takes out Kevin Owens, allowing Cody to retain. So I do have Cody retaining, but I will tell you, if Kevin Owens wins, mark out of the year is just lock the fuck down. Just completely. Like,
Yeah.
I don't see
Yeah.
anything unseating this because I have loved his work so fucking
Well,
much in this. Like,
it's funny you
okay.
say that, and I do agree that it would be incredible, and I would absolutely be right there with you. But there is one other thing that could happen on this show that would actually supplant that mark out of the year for me personally. I know it would not for you, and I totally get that. But for me personally, there is something else that could happen on the show that would supplant Kevin winning the title for mark out of the year.
I think I have a notion of what that is, but we'll cross that bridge
And
when
to
we
be
come
fair,
to it.
I'm just going to get ahead of it. It's not EO winning the Rumble.
Interesting. Okay. Okay. All right, then I am curious. But again, I'm guessing what match will we be able to reveal that with?
The men's Rumble.
Okay, so we're gonna get right to it. Let's get right into men's rumble. Unless you have anything else you want to say about Cody Kevin.
Yeah, I do actually. There was something that I wanted to say about it. So I think there is a very real possibility here that Sami simply not showing up is what leads to Sami and Kevin having their WrestleMania match. I think that's where this is going. I think Sami, literally just by not showing up to help Kevin, and maybe Orton does show up to help Cody, might lead to Kevin eliminating Sami from the Rumble, which is the beginning of their feud into Mania. I think that's what we're going to.
I think just to keep this recording nice and organized and clean, I'll just respond to you now rather than waiting later. I am just going to simply say that I agree with you completely, and that was the only thing stopping me from putting Sami in my final four. Because when I tell you, I agonized over that. I really do think Sami's going to have a strong performance in Rumble, but I think Kevin
Dude,
Owens is going to cut him out at the knees
I'm
and
going to
just
tell you right
eliminate him.
now, just as like a very small little preview for something that we're about to reveal in about 5 minutes. I have got the most corporate imaginable Final Four you can ever imagine.
Same, same.
Okay, I'm glad we're on
Yeah,
the same page then. But yeah, dude, I'm telling you right now, the thing that could exactly what you're talking about, the thing that would supplant Kevin winning the title for me is Sami winning the Rumble.
you know what, dude? I've always loved Kevin more, but I've really come around on Sami the last couple of years. I think him winning might even bring a tear to my eye,
Dude,
honestly. Because like,
I was even
yeah,
about to post in discussion like if Sami wins the Rumble, I'm gonna need a moment because that's special territory for me. That's insane.
yeah, dude, absolutely. Do you? Okay, so now that we've gotten into this, do you want to just fully segue into men's Rumble
Yeah,
discussion?
now's the time I think to do it. Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, so per our mini game, do you want to just go over the categories? Like, how do you want to do
Yeah.
this? I don't want to.
Okay,
Yeah,
so again, for those of you who are just joining us for the first time, we have a very special minigame that we play for Royal Rumble matches that's inspired by a game played by another podcast that we watched and have been not so much lately, but when they were really in their prime following for a long time, called Podswoggle. They always played this game, and we kind of picked it up from them, and we've been kind of carrying the torch since then because I don't know if they even play it anymore. Where it's basically predicting a lot of little details about the Rumble itself. And for us, our categories, we try and predict who's going to be in the first two in the entrance for both Rumbles, who's going to be the last entrant in both Rumbles, who's going to last the longest amount of time in both Rumbles, who's going to get eliminated the quickest in both Rumbles, who's going to get the most eliminations in both Rumbles, and then the final four of both Rumbles, and of course the winner of both Rumbles. So, starting with the men's Rumble, the first two entrants is our first category. And I should also add on top of that, not only do we predict who is going to be winning these matches or who's going to be, accomplishing these little feats or, drawing these numbers or whatever, but we also try and assign point values relative to how confident we are that each of these things is going to happen. So that then at the end of it, we don't just win based on how many we get, we win based on how many points we get by the end total. So, if we nail a pick, but we only had 1 point of confidence on it, well, then maybe we didn't really deserve to get that much credit for making that pick because we weren't that confident about it. But if we nail a pick and we had a bunch of confidence on it, then yeah, we deserve full credit for that. So it's based on points. And our first two sections are literally just the first two entrants in the Rumble. And John, if you want to go first, you can. If you want me to go first, I'm going to let you call who goes first.
Okay, I'll go first. I will say, there will be a year where I am just so crazy that I put 11 points of confidence on who the number one entrant will be. This year is not that year. I put 1 point of confidence on Logan Paul being the number one entrant in the Royal Rumble.
Okay. And your number two?
LA Knight for 2 points.
Okay. LA Knight. Okay. That's interesting. So my mom and I were actually kind of on a similar page here. And I know that we do live in the same house, but I should specify that we did not communicate at all as far as like who we picked or anything. We did this completely independently, and then I made sure to have mine done first so that when she told me her picks, I wouldn't be changing anything, and that is the case. So she has her number two or her top two entrants being Seth Rollins and Sami Zayn.
I like that. I like that a lot.
And it's 7 points on Seth and 6 points on Sami, and I think that her logic to that was just kind of like the haluva kick. Or no, actually, that wasn't even on Seth, was it? That was before that.
No, well, yeah, no. Sammy accidentally haluva kicked Seth. That's correct.
It was the first time around. Yeah, that's right. So yeah, I guess they can work the shit out. But I'm on similar page with her as far as Sami Zayn. I also have Sami Zayn for 6 points, but I have his greatest obstacle being the number one entrant and him having to go one on one with him before the third entrant comes out, and that's Drew McIntyre with 7 points.
Okay, yeah. Man, this could really be a great fucking year for Sammy. WWE better not fuck this shit up.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
So yeah, so you got Logan Paul, LA Knight. My mom's got Seth and Sami. I've got Drew and Sami. And my mom and I both have more points on it because I will say I definitely heavily influenced her point totals because I was just trying to give her the best chance mathematically of doing well.
Right.
So then we get to the number 30 entrance. I guess we can go first for this and we'll just kind of alternate. So my mom and I actually were on the exact same page here. We both had CM Punk as the number 30 entrant. I think we're both thinking that Paul Heyman's going to pull some strings and make that happen as this big favor paying off for helping Roman in Survivor Series War Games.
I completely get that logic, especially because Punk, it doesn't take long to get that fucking old ass bitch gassed.
Yeah. I want to add, though, she put 5 points on it. I only put 2 points on it.
I put 3 points. I'm always very conservative when it comes to the number categories, just because, it's just really hard to guess. I put John Cena for number 30 entrant for 3 points. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. He's getting up there in age. That makes sense.
Yeah.
All right. Longest lasting.
I put Seth Rollins for this for 5 points.
Very nice. You have the most points on this, but not by a lot, by one. I have the next most points on it. I have Sami Zayn, longest lasting, 4 points.
Makes sense.
I don't think anyone's going to go over an hour this year. I think Sammy's probably going to go like 50 something minutes. I don't think he's going to make it to the very end, but I do think he's going to make it pretty deep into the 20s.
Yeah.
And then my mom, I thought this was a really clever pick as like a scrappy babyface performance. 3 points on Jey Uso to last the longest.
Oh, I like that.
Right? I think that's a really cool pick. All right. Then we get to shortest lasting. So this is basically like who do you think is going to get made a joke of in the Rumble? And I thought my mom had a great pick here too. She picked Carmelo Hayes for 4 points.
Hey, your mom's killing it this year.
Dude, right? Yeah. I mean, it hurts. It's painful. And he did just have like a pretty solid match with Jimmy Uso. So maybe they're kind of cooling off on this weird, like, I don't know, like humiliation ritual that they're doing with him on TV. But yeah, it's definitely very likely. Shortest lasting, 3 points from me. I put Dominic Mysterio.
I feel like I do this every year just because he's still with the fucking company. I put 4 points on R-Truth.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then we get to most eliminations, and you get to go first with this one.
Okay, this is where when I teased to you that I did a little bit of gambling, but I thought it was smart gambling, I
Oh,
put 9 fucking
Jesus
points
Christ!
on Jacob Fatu getting the most eliminations.
Oh my God!
Remember when I called Roman Reigns dominating that one
Yeah,
Rumble?
yeah.
We're doing it again, baby. It's Jacob Fatu's fucking year to be a beast.
So here's the thing. You and my mom also agree on this. She has Jacob, but she and I both only put 1 point on this category. Uh, so
You
she
put me
has
in a gambling mood, man. I got 9 fucking whopping points on this shit.
she put 1 point on Jacob. I put 1 point on someone who's not even announced for the Rumble yet, which is why I only put 1 point on it. And that is our God King, our NXT champion, Oba Femi.
Oh, I just need to say again, you have no idea how bad I wanted to put Obafemi in the final four, but I didn't want the group to glare at me and be like, "What are you talking about?" Fuck. I
Yeah.
really hope he's in this, man. I love that. I love
Yeah,
that
I
so
I,
much.
I gave Oba 1 point, just hoping that he's in it and that he gets to really shine. Like, because who, like, what other real monsters does WWE have right now? It's like I know that Omos is like around and they might throw him out there, but they're not going to book him
He's
like a
never been a
beast like that,
dominant type though in
right?
Rumbles.
And like Strowman is really like the only other one, and then like you said, Jacob. Like those are really the three only real other threats if Oba's in the Rumble to the most eliminations crown, in my opinion. Unless they just give it to like one of the established guys, like Roman or Punk or Cena, like that kind of
Or
or
if they
Drew.
want to make Braun Breaker have a good Rumble, but he's already IC champ, so like
Right.
I don't know.
That's
I
fair.
don't know.
Yeah. The pupper.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm just this is just a hope and a prayer for me. This is why I only put 1 point on it. But now we get to the final four. So we like to always go back and forth on this one. I think you went first with Jacob, so I'm going to start with my mom on this. The 11-point pick. I think we all put 11-point picks on someone to be in the final four. My mom put 11 points on Roman Reigns to be in the final four. I put 11 points on CM Punk to be in the final four. Who did you put 11
Did I?
points on?
You and I are on the same fucking
Punk.
page. I put 11 points on CM Punk.
All right. And I'm assuming you also put 10 points on someone in the final four. So go ahead and name that person.
Well, actually, I put 10 points for my winner because I
Oh,
know.
okay.
Yeah. So
So you put
these
8 points on a final four contestant then.
yeah, I put 8 points
So
on
then I'll
Roman
go through
Reigns.
the 10 pointers for my mom and I.
Okay.
She has 10 points on Drew McIntyre being in the final four. I don't have Drew in my final four at all, just to give you an idea of how much faith she has in her man.
Same.
I have
Same.
John Cena with 10 points.
Okay, so I have Roman Reigns for 8, and then I guess it would just be back to you guys for your next
Yes.
point values,
So
right?
for
So
9 points, she has CM Punk. I have for 9 points Roman Reigns.
okay, for 7 points, I have John Cena.
Okay. And then finally for us, for 8 points, she has Cena. I have Seth Rollins.
I too have Seth Rollins. I really wanted to put Sammy here, man. I really
Dude,
fucking
you and
did,
I
but I
have
made
the exact same final four. How many points do you have on Seth? 6.
6, yeah.
And then you have 10 points on your winner, which, based on math, I know who you picked. And you and I
Yeah.
picked the same person. So, Punk.
Yeah, Punk's fucking winning.
Yeah, we agree. So,
Ugh.
I just want to get ahead of this. I think that CM Punk winning the Royal Rumble is like the lame, predictable thing to do. To me, it would be so much more entertaining if he thought he won and then The Rock came out as entrant number 31 and threw his ass over the top rope and challenged Cody for the title. That's peak WWE amazing bullshit to me. That would pop me. That would be my mark out of the fucking year. I would lose my fucking mind and it wouldn't even be, "Oh my god, it's The Rock. This is epic." It would be, "Holy shit, they're actually fucking doing it."
I think for me, because I'm just so done with CM Punk and I'm very old and tired, is that I didn't laugh when Brock Lesnar screwed Ali out of the briefcase. I would laugh at CM Punk so hard for this.
Yeah.
Like I need you all to understand the Schadenfreude I would experience watching this man lose his dream again would be just oh my god. I'd make Hannibal Lecter noises, but I've actually been very good about restraining myself. So yeah, I find it lame. I find it boring. When you talked about Sammy winning, the butterflies that fluttered in my fucking stomach,
Yeah.
because that to me is what Rumble should be about.
That's
But it's
inspired, right?
yeah, it's inspired. It's beautiful. Fucking Oba winning, being one of the first
Oh my
NXT
god.
people to win a fucking Rumble.
He would be the first.
Yeah, he'd be the first. And like I don't know. Would he keep the NXT title going into Mania? Would he lose it before? There would be so many questions. Yeah, you could do off the wall shit or just genuinely inspired shit and make it all work. But I really think that it's going to be CM Punk, and then the whole story is going to be Paul Heyman is my wise man on the road to WrestleMania. So Roman, you get to kick rocks and you have to do without or whatever the fuck. So yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. So you and I have the exact same final four: Punk, Cena, Reigns, Rollins.
I also
My
hate that Drew didn't make my final four either, by the
I
way.
was gonna say my mom has a very, very slight change in that final four. She swaps out Rollins for McIntyre.
Yeah, I wish he would make it. I've been loving Drew's work lately, so this wasn't a
Here's
diss.
the
It's
thing, though,
just
dude.
yeah,
The thing that I really that clicked for me that caused me to go with that exact final four was you just know Punk and Cena are going to go face to face with Rollins and Reigns, and it's going to be the old guard versus the new guard. It's going to be fucking Summer of Punk versus the Shield, and people are going to lose their fucking minds just from that face off alone, even though it's not going to make any fucking sense because Seth hates Roman, but it's the Rumble and it's every man for himself, and they see these older guys as the bigger threat, so they're going to make a temporary alliance just long enough to get rid of them so that they can make it down to just the two of them, and they're going to fucking lose.
yeah. Fuck. Oh
My
boy.
guess is in the final, if we had to narrow this down to a final two, I would actually say Punk and Cena as the final two.
Yeah, that would be pretty poetic for Cena, at least on his journey.
And
But
then Punk beats Cena very clean, very like respectably, like nothing dirty, nothing sneaky, just straight up. He just maybe even GTS's Cena, and it knocks Cena somehow, like he bumps over the top out of the top rope, and
yeah,
that's just it. Or maybe like he lariats him over the side, like something really like classic, something old school, something by the books, nothing like dirty, nothing sneaky, not even like a low bridge that would feel too sneaky. Punk might start to get a little sus reaction on him. I just think that's what it's going to come down to. I think at the end, there's also one other guy I want to talk about who I'm scared is going to be in the final four that I really don't want to see in the final four, and that's Logan Paul.
yeah. Dude, you know what's crazy? Because obviously I put Logan Paul at number one. There was a moment where I thought he might even just be number 30 and would just coast to the final four.
Yeah,
But I'm hoping that's not the case.
I really hope he's not
Uh,
in the final four, man. That's a
that
definite fear of mine.
that would just be just so rancid in my fucking mouth and my
Yeah.
eyes and everything. Like I reject it viscerally. Um, I'm really just hoping Jacob Fatu, Sammy, and potentially Oba all have good showings in this.
Yeah.
Those are the three guys that I'm really, and of course, just because of the revamped New Day storyline, I did restrain myself. I didn't put any points on Biggie. I didn't even mention Biggie, but in the back of my mind, I am going to be thinking, is Biggie going to show up? I
Dude.
swore after last
You
year I
want to
wouldn't
talk
do it,
about
and then they
tears
did.
in our eyes. Oh my god, I would lose it. I don't think that he's going to even be getting tested again though until like April-ish. So
Yeah.
I'm not even that's not even going to be in the back of my mind. That's completely out of my mind for another few months.
You know what? I'm glad you told me that because now it'll be out of my mind too. And again, the only reason I'm bringing this up, I swear to you, is because they're doing this storyline bullshit with the New Day.
Yeah.
Because if they weren't, I would have been like, okay, it's over, it's done with. But of
Yeah.
course, you had to poke the fucking bear.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's where I'm at. Do we want to move on to women's?
Let's close this baby out with the women's rumble. We have got the exact same picks to make, so I will just start here with the first two entrants. Since you started with the men's, I'll start with the women's. My mom has her first two picks being Nia Jax and Liv Morgan, 7 and 6 points. I thought that was kind of an interesting one, but her logic was she thought that Liv would just last long enough against Nia for Raquel to come out at somewhere between 3 and 5, and that then they could kind of double team Nia. I think it would almost be more interesting if they just opened with the first two entrants being Nia and Raquel. Because then you get like this clash of the titans, these two like big women. One of the only women on the roster that could actually go to toe power wise with Nia. But she went with Liv, and I'm curious how that turns out if that is what happens. But my first two entrants, EO number one.
Okay.
I've got 7 points on EO being in the first two entrants. I really hope that this plays out the way I think it might. Even if it's not EO though, I maybe Bianca could be a possibility. I have my points on EO because that's like out of the group of women that I think it might be, she's just my favorite. But EO or Bianca, even Naomi, Someone that can really go the distance. And then number 2, Becky Lynch, 4 points.
When you started saying the B, I was about to lose my mind about like us potentially having the first 2 entrants because actually wait, before I say any more, can I go? Are you okay with that?
Yeah.
Like me? Okay. I do agree with you about EO being number 1. I have the same thing. Of course, I only put 1 point confidence because that's how I always play this game, guys. I'm always very conservative when it comes to like number allotment in this way.
See,
I have
but
EO at
remember
1.
though, we're not exactly just picking who we think is going to be at number 1. We're picking who we think could be at 1 or 2.
Exactly.
Like you have EO in the number 1 slot, but if she comes out at number 2, you'd still get full credit for your points.
Yes, exactly. But here's the thing, and this is where the women's rumble, at least creatively, I allowed myself to have a bit more fun with my picks while still in my mind being grounded. I have Bailey at 2.
Ah,
I'd love if Io and Bailey open the shit because they, after Mania, I still wanted the feud to continue, and I was left very unsatisfied. I've been left very
they did
unsatisfied with
have
a
that
lot of things
stare
about Bailey.
down recently behind the scenes. I think it was on Raw.
I believe they did, and they had that brief interaction in War Games, but like, yeah, this should be where they fucking eat. I mean, let's
Yeah,
fucking do it. Io
yeah,
and Bailey opening the Rumble. I have 1 and 2 points respectively on that. So
yeah. I have Becky though because there are all these rumors that she's on her way back, and we haven't seen her yet. And so rather than like, oh yeah, we know Charlotte's going to be in it. Everyone's talking about Charlotte. Everyone's got Charlotte on the Charlotte's name in their mouth. It's the surprise entrant. It's the one that people aren't actively talking about. It's Becky surprising everyone as the number 2.
yes, okay,
So
okay.
that was my number 2 pick. Number 30 entrant. You get to go first on this one.
I actually have Liv Morgan for 3 points.
Interesting. Okay, that's cool.
She's heel now, and it's Judgment Day. And given that she was champion very recently, it would just be interesting if the deck was like kind of stacked in her favor number wise.
Yeah.
So yeah, I have her at 30.
Okay. My mom has Charlotte Flair at 30. She thinks she's going to come out last. Number 30.
I
Four
like that.
points. She has 4 points on her. I went very doomer on this year's Rumble. But also like the stars are kind of aligning that this could actually happen.
Okay.
WWE just recently entered a big deal with TNA, right?
Yeah.
Who's the GM of TNA, John?
Santino. You're Are you thinking Ariana Grace at 30?
Oh, I fucking wish it was that positive.
Oh God, then who are you thinking then?
My 1 point, because again, this is very doomer. This is very pessimistic. This is very
Oh,
like
oh God.
it's the Trump era, and they want to do something unhinged.
Oh
My
God.
1 point number 30 entrant is Santina Marella.
Oh, dude, honestly, that's still awful.
You thought I
But
was building up to Tessa.
I really thought you were building up to Tessa fucking Blanchard. Oh my God, what a cursed timeline we live in. Jesus Christ.
Somehow, I don't even know if what I said was better or worse.
Oh Jesus Christ. So cold. Um, God, I hope you're wrong. No, you know what, dude? I know you're going Doomer, but I
Well,
feel
because
like
here's the thing. Here's how I
yeah,
imagine it going. This is how I envision the Santino music hits. Santina comes out, full cross dress, full gear. Santina Marella, fully in character. She gets in the ring, immediately gets eliminated, exactly the way that Santino did all those years ago. Does the whole exact same bit. I wasn't ready, all that shit, and they just play it off like a joke. Fine, right?
yeah.
But at the same time, what does that say? Because it's like that number 30 spot was taken up by a guy playing dress up. It raises all of these fucking conversations about trans issues. People aren't afraid to talk shit about trans people now because of the Trump garbage. And it's more possible now than ever because of the TNA deal. Like all of these stars are aligning. I genuinely think there's a real chance that Santina Marella will be in this women's rumble, and I only have her at number 30 because of the fact that it's like just the last one, just get it out of the way, immediately eliminate her, and then we get back to actual business.
God, in the words of Javaris, it's making my ass itch.
Yeah,
Fuck.
it's the worst, and I hate it, but I just could not shake it, the idea of it being a possibility.
Yeah.
But I just again, this is why I only threw 1 point down.
No, okay. Yeah, and I get that completely. So now
Longest
we're on
lasting.
longest lasting, and I go first on
So,
this, correct?
no, you went first for Liv Morgan, the 30
Of course,
entrant.
yeah, yeah, okay.
So for my longest lasting, I do have her being a number one entrant or one of the top two entrants. So I do have Io being my longest lasting. I have 6 points on that. My mom had a similar logic here. She has Liv Morgan as her longest lasting. Again, she also has Liv as being one of her first two entrants as well. And she has 3 points on Liv.
Nice, nice. I have EO as long as lasting
Nice.
for 7 points.
7 points. Shortest lasting is interesting. So I actually decided to just go for Zelina Vega, interestingly enough. I was just thinking like she just switched over to SmackDown. She might need to get down on her luck so that there's a reason for someone to kind of pick her up and give her something to do. This might be a way to do that. I only have 2 points on it. And my mom picked Ivy Nile for 1 point.
Actually, I will say, compared to you two guys, I'm actually really confident now in my shortest lasting, and I liked how I thought about this. I have BFAB for 5 points.
You know what? I considered BFAB. 5 points is insane, but I considered BFAB as well.
Well,
I do
I
like
think
that.
you started one thought, and then the rest of what I said processed, and you were like, "Wait, what?"
I mean, yeah, I think you make good picks, but I think the way you allocate points is kind of nutty.
Well, thank God I don't have a gambling problem. Uh,
So, what's the logic on BFAB? I do think it's a solid pick. I actually did consider her, but I'm curious what your logic was.
I just feel like WWE, they don't see her as a jobber per se. Like, I don't want to be that visceral, but like, she's not really an impact player in the division. They kind of trot her out when they want her in the ring to eat the pin usually. And so I feel like they'll take her up to kind of fill a spot, but she's not going to last that long. I don't know if she'll last like Santino levels of time, like just a second, but I could see her maybe being under 10 minutes in the Rumble personally.
Right.
So we'll see.
Okay. So you're really with this, you're not saying that they're going to treat BFAB like a joke. What you're saying is they're not going to treat any of the women like a joke, and BFAB is just going to last the least amount of time, maybe three
Yes.
minutes. Right. I gotcha. That's fair. I like that.
Yeah.
Most eliminations. This one you do get to go first for.
Very basic here. I feel like I might do this every year just because she's always the first that comes to mind. But Bianca Belair, 4 points. I
See,
mean,
that's
she's a
so
stud.
interesting because
Yeah.
last year you had Nia.
Yeah, and you know what? Like, I considered Nia again this year, as well as considering her again for number 30 entrant, just because of who she is, and there's no gas tank on her. But yeah, I decided to go Bianca this year, 4 points.
I looked in 2023. You had Raquel.
Okay, so I guess I don't do Bianca. Okay, that's actually a comfort then. Then I feel better about doing Bianca rather than just ham fisting it every fucking year. Um,
2022. You did have Bianca.
well, I gave myself 3 years. There you go. Nice little 3 year space. Uh,
2021. You had Nia again.
yeah,
Dude, I have a lot of these spreadsheets historically.
yes.
2020, you had Shayna. And 2019, I think, was the first. No, we had 2018 even. Holy shit. 2019, you had Sonya Deville.
It kind of unnerves me how well you keep receipts. Because if I get on my soapbox on some random shit, you're gonna be like, "Well, John, actually, 2 years ago, you said the exact opposite of it." And it's like, fuck.
Okay, I'm done. 2018, Asuka was your pick for most eliminations.
Yeah, and I think that made sense at the time, given that. Yeah,
So
but
how
all
many
right.
points did you have on Bianca?
I believe I said 4 points. Yeah, 4 points. 4 points.
Okay. So I had Charlotte Flair with the most eliminations, 3 points.
Oh, right
She's in
then.
it. We know she's going to dominate, and it's her first match back from basically a year off, maybe longer. She's talking all kinds of shit. She might actually just be a heel now. I don't know. She might even embrace it. But I fully expect her to dominate and get a lot of eliminations, if not the most, definitely top 3 or 4 most. I don't think that anyone should expect Charlotte Flair to have fewer than like 5 eliminations in this Rumble. And I'm pretty sure there have been women's Rumbles where 5 was enough to have the most. So then we get to my mom's pick for most eliminations. And I don't know if I mentioned this, but I had 3 points on Charlotte getting the most eliminations. My
Okay.
mom's pick for most eliminations was Nia Jax with 2.
Okay.
Two
All
points,
right.
not 2 eliminations. But yeah,
Yeah.
now we get to our final 4. So again, my mom and I put 11 points on somebody to be in the final 4. Her 11-point choice was Io. Mine was Charlotte.
My 11-point choice was also Io.
All right. Her 10-point choice was actually Bailey. Mine was Io.
My 10-point choice was also Bailey.
Well, damn. Her 9-point choice was Bianca, and so was mine.
My 9-point choice was Liv Morgan.
Damn. Oh well, yeah, you had her coming out. No, you have her. Yeah, you have her coming out last. Okay, that does track. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Okay. Now we start to get a little bit more interesting. So my mom's final four, number 4, she had Naomi with 8 points.
I like that. I'd love for
This
Naomi to have a strong rumble like that.
this is a big divergence point for me. I
Yeah.
had Becky Lynch making the final 4.
Nice.
Um, I had Becky and Io both starting the match and lasting all the way to the final 4 because I just think it's an interesting story. But I only put 5 points on Becky because, again, she's not even announced for the show. So I didn't want to go too hard on investing in her. But 5 points on Becky to be in the final 4. Who was your final 4?
Bianca Belair with 8 points.
Okay. And I'm guessing that means that your winner is Io?
Io Sky is my winner for 6
Oh,
points.
man, that would be so nice. Yeah. My mom also has Io winning. She has 5 points on it. I am unfortunately the most confident in my winner, and I am picking Charlotte Flair to win the Women's Royal Rumble with 8 points.
I don't believe you've done this.
I would apologize, but part of me doing this is protecting my own emotions.
That's so tragic, but also fair. Wow. God, bro. I okay. So now that we've done the minigame and stuff, and we can kind of just have some final remarks that are like broad stroke remarks. If Punk and Charlotte both win these rumbles, ooh, and Cody retain like, dude, this rumble actually just in terms of the booking might be my worst pay-per-view of the year of
Do
those
you
selections of the
understand now
past.
why I was at a 7 coming into this?
Yeah, I think this is like I won't say it's a first, but I think it's rare. You actually lowered my score. I think I'm gonna join you on that 7 actually.
I'm sorry for lowering your excitement for the show. I didn't mean to do that. I just really need to emphasize, though, this is what I mean, though, when I say I have a lot of passion for possibility because, like, I was talking about how exciting it would be if Sami Zayn won the men's rumble and used that win to go after Gunther again. He beat him at Mania last year, lost to him at, I believe, was it SummerSlam?
I'm on a random Raw.
Was it?
Yeah, it was a Raw.
And they could have their fucking rubber match at Mania for the world title after Sammy wins the Rumble. Like, that's beautiful. That's amazing. And then you get to tell your Cody story however the fuck you want. You don't need to use the Rumble as the device to tell that story, right? I just
I
would love
mean,
that. That would
yeah,
be beautiful.
yeah. I mean, I don't want to be too in my feelings, but you could also tell the Cody story where he gets, chucked off a ladder into the void, and we just never see him again. And Kevin Owens is our WWE champion. I mean,
That would be beautiful if God, you're right. That would be amazing. I would love that.
yeah, no, but I know
You
it's
and I
not going
did
to
both
happen.
pick Cody though, so I'm not insulting anyone when I say I'm trying to live in reality here.
No, I know, and I was even going to say for myself, like, don't worry about me. I'm still in reality. I'm just saying it would be very, very nice if Cody got pushed off a ladder into a black hole. Nobody knows it's on the other side. I'm sure he's okay. But like, fuck. God
Yeah.
damn it. Fucking Randall's gonna ruin my life. Fuck.
Are we gonna pop for Randy when he shows up, or are we gonna be angry at him?
No, I'm gonna be very moody and pouty and a little bitch about it. Be like, fuck you, Randy. God, this Rumble's looking to be so old. I mean, why don't you
Is
just reflect? Why don't you just reflect the demos that are going to dominate and call it the Royal Shindig? Jesus Christ! Oh
I
fuck!
like I like a good shindig. What do you mean?
I bet you do.
What is that
I
supposed to mean? Are you calling me old?
like, well, I mean, it wouldn't be the first time. Jesus. But I'm also old. Yeah, sigh it up. Um, listen, the greatest hope would be either Sammy wins men's or Obafemi. That would be make me so erect I could take all of us camping at once. And with women's, honestly, with women's, I've just been really cool with the idea of Io winning. She's a main eventer. She is one of the best women's wrestlers in the world, even still.
See, and I guess that's
Um,
my thing too,
yeah,
is like Io winning would be like exciting, but I wouldn't even be as like over the moon as you might expect knowing how much of an Io fan I am, just because it feels so overdue. Like I think we had like a conversation, not you and I, but like we as in the royal we, as in like we in the Discord had a conversation a few weeks ago, may have even been a couple months ago, talking about Io winning the Rumble, and I was like, she already did that, didn't she? And it turned out she didn't, and I was like, what? How? How has she
she
not
won
won the
Money in the
Rumble?
Bank.
She
Yeah.
won money. Yeah, she won Money in the Bank, but like I don't know, it just feels weirdly overdue for her to win the Rumble to the point that like I would care less about it if she did it now.
Yeah.
It also just
So
feels like she hasn't been built to it at all. There's been no build for Io winning the Rumble at all.
that's why it's supposed to come out of nowhere. But what? But is there a women's, much like Sammy popping you for men's, and I'm assuming like Oba or Big E, God forbid, if he would like
Oh
shock us and fucking
Jesus.
do it. I would sob if Big E won. Like I would be a fucking puddle. Is there a woman that would make you pop big?
Um, Realistically, I don't think so right now. No.
Okay. I just wanted to check in.
No, yeah,
Um,
I mean, if Kyrie would come back, I don't think that her winning would do that to me because it would just be so out of left field. I'd be more stunned than happy.
yeah, that's. I mean, hell, even me, like, I don't. My Coyote fandom has definitely cooled down.
Yeah,
I would still be happy for her, but even I'd be like, so is she just gonna lose? Because Coyote rarely, like, WWE does not treat her like Stardom treated her more like a main event and like an S tier threat
yeah,
than WWE ever has, at least on the main roster.
yeah.
And so I'm like, so she's just gonna lose, right?
Right.
Like I hate to say it, but that would be my first thought.
Yeah, like I think honestly, other than Io, I think that the person that would get me the most excited if they won the Rumble would probably just be Bianca.
And here's the thing: if much like with Oba, we would go to NXT, the only two women that I think would really pop me would be Roxanne, and all the way on the other end of the spectrum, if fucking Tatum Paxley found a way to win the fucking Rumble, I'd be like, oh my god, Tayra is eating everyone. Fuck.
Yeah, it's weird. It just feels like WWE just hasn't really they haven't really given me anyone to get excited about for this women's rumble. They really are putting like 80% of their effort, of their marketing, of their everything, like their effort into the men's rumble this year, and it's kind of a shame.
Yeah, definitely,
Not
definitely.
kind of, it's absolutely a shame.
Yeah, yeah,
Like Triple H was the fucking architect of the women's revolution in NXT, and now we're here. Like, what the fuck? He should feel
man.
ashamed.
He is not only not beating the current allegations, he's piling on other
He
allegations like it's
is.
fucking pasta. And he's like,
Yeah.
yeah, give me a second helping of that shit.
Fuck.
God, wow, my hype level just took a nosedive like the stock market today. Fucking hell. Yeah, I think I'm at a 7, maybe even a 6.5, but I
I
think
was
I'll
gonna
just
say
go with a
6.5 too.
7. You son of a bitch. So
Oh
let's all get ready to have
no.
a time, I guess, at the
You know
Rumble,
what?
everyone.
You know what? Here's a name that would excite me, not necessarily anywhere close to as much as a Sami Zayn winning the men's rumble would, but a name that would excite me to like maybe even more than Io, just because again Io feels so overdue. A debuting on the main roster, well, not even because she was in last year's rumble, but like a stunning like debut slash rumble win, Jordan Grace.
Thinking about Jordan Grace, and yeah, she'd be another really interesting choice.
Because you just know she has zero cares in the world for Tiffany Stratton. She is laser focused on Rhea Ripley, and that is a WrestleMania match that gets me the fuck out of bed.
Yeah, yeah,
Jordan
yeah.
and Rhea would fucking tear the goddamn house down at Mania.
I see your vision. I see your vision.
Yeah, that's about it though. Yeah. And I feel like I had to really reach deep to pull that Jordan Grace grab out of my ass, honestly.
Yeah, I'm telling
Also,
you, I
another
really
name in the men's rumble that if he even just made it to like the final 6, 5, 4 range, that would be very cool. Penta.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I gotta tell you, man. I guess just the final note for me, because I really don't have much to say, and I don't want us to be spinning our wheels. But I still am awaiting the day especially now that it's become the norm, that an NXT appearance just wins the fucking Rumble. And that's
Yeah.
why I've been so fixated on Oba, because like he's the most believable to do it if he is going to
Dude,
appear this year, which
I
we don't
think
know.
that Oba is the closest, like the sort of like the unicorn. Like he's the one. Like if anyone's ever gonna do it, it's gonna be Oba, but it's gonna be next year. Like I could
Yeah.
see Oba holding that title all year this year, losing it on like whatever PLE they do at the end of December, beginning of January, closing out his final program in NXT throughout January, disappearing off NXT TV, and then having his first main roster appearance being at the Rumble, which he wins to set up for a main event of WrestleMania push over WrestleMania season. That's
I'm
like,
gonna,
I feel like that is me being optimistic, but also like trying to just predict WWE's mega push of Obafemi on the main roster if they have interest in doing that.
well, you have me like this close to just making another copy of the template, changing it to 2026, then putting Oba as my winner, and then waiting the rest of the year for the rest to shake out so that I can logically fill in the rest of the spaces. Because I, I, I do think Oba's going to be a Rumble winner in his career. I just have that
I mean,
conviction
dude,
in my fucking
I
bones.
keep on saying it, man. Oba is new generation Batista, and Batista did it, so Oba's gonna do it. Batista did it twice.
Yeah, really. We don't like to
Batista
remember the
did it
second one though.
what, 05, right?
L5 was his first, and then what, like
And then
20,
2014.
2014? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, because Batista won it the year that Daniel Bryan beat him for the title in the main event of Mania.
yeah.
That was WrestleMania 30. Yep.
All right, well, I'm at a 7 now, again, maybe a 6.5, so my, my hype definitely it diminished.
Oh
But
man.
hopefully this Rumble is decent, I guess.
I
It
hope that
exists.
the Rumble matches really are like the main attraction, the fun part, because I don't think the undercard matches are going to be that great. DIY MCMG has masturbatory bullshit written all over it, and I fucking hate Cody Rhodes, and I fucking hate ladder matches. So not even Kevin can save that shit.
Yeah,
But
we
I
were crying
hope
in the club for Kevin Owens.
so. I hope that the Rumble matches themselves are a lot of fun. I hope we get more surprises than we've been getting in the last few Rumbles because I feel like we've been very surprise deprived recently.
Yeah,
I feel like all of the surprises, quote unquote, have just been like, oh, look, there's someone from NXT that you've been watching every fucking week.
yeah. To circle back to your
Have
KO,
Dijak show up in the men's rumble, fuck sakes.
that would be insane. To
Bring
circle
back
back to your
Trevor Lee, god damn it, fuck.
Trevor Lee would be amazing. But to circle back to what you said, like way earlier about Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, which I agreed with, bro. To quote Bulbous Ray Dudley, who I fucking loathe, but
Ugh.
imagine the fucking heat if like Kevin waits until Sammy makes the final two and then beats the shit out of him. Like the other person's down, they don't even know what happened, and then Kevin Owens comes out and at the very least like stuns Sammy, and then the other person comes to and they're like, "Oh, Sammy's down. That's weird." Chuck, and then you know, like just to be a massive dick. Sammy was that close, and Kevin Owens robs him because that was my problem. Why I didn't pick Sammy at in my final four was I do expect Kevin to interfere. I just don't know when. And that's the problem. Like, is he going to wait till late because it is a ladder match and you would have to expect him to take a lot of time to recover? Or, you know, what's going to happen? But yeah, if he waited till Sammy made the final two and then betrayed him like that, dude,
Dude.
even me, I
Yeah.
want you guys to know how amazing heel work this would be because even me, I'd have to be like, fuck you, Kevin, especially if it's Sammy against CM Punk because CM Punk openly said on national television that Sami Zayn isn't on his level.
Yeah.
And then Sammy makes it to the final two with fucking Punk, and Kevin Owens is the reason that old ass bitch gets to go to me. I might even drop a fuck you, Kevin. And I adore this man. I mean, fucking Christ. So,
You know, I
yeah.
also, when I was talking about how I have passion for possibility for this Rumble, I don't think that Ilya Dragunov is actually going to be back in time to show up at this Rumble. But if he John Cena's his ass off and manages to somehow recover from his injury in time, I would love for the first three entrants in this Rumble to go mellow at one. He cuts his promo, talks his shit, and then the music hits at number two and it's fucking Trick. And Trick debuts in the Rumble, eliminates Mello before the number three entrant even comes out, and he's just celebrating with the crowd. Whoa, that Trick! And then number three's Ilya, and we revisit Ilya Trick from last year. that would pop the shit out of me. I would love that. And I don't even like Ilya that much, but I know that Trick and Ilya cook.
I I love where your head's at. It's not about that. I just have to be truthful. I forgot Ilya was employed. I haven't thought about that dude in so
We
long.
have Ludwig now. He's tall, Ilya. He's better.
I'm like, we have so many Europeans. What are you doing? We have so many Europeans. We don't need another European. I mean, fuck. Uh,
Yeah, that I've thought about that scenario so much. Just like low key, like that scenario by itself, like just giving Trick that moment of getting one more up on Mello, and then having Ilya come out and just letting them cook for a few minutes or like a minute and a half, since that's how long it takes for the next entrant to come out. I would love that because it would give Trick a really good spotlight, and then it would let him have a really solid minute and a half worth of a match with someone that he has a lot of experience with. And I would also just love to hear 65,000 loud chanting, "Whoa, that Trick!" I would, oh my God, that's like goosebump inducing. That's like pop of the year material. That's incredible to me.
Absolutely. Which I'm glad you mentioned your awards too, because Rumble might be willing to cook on that area. I don't know, either for worse stuff, because like I said, if
Yeah.
these booking decisions come to pass, I'm definitely gonna be a salty bitch about it. Um, but yeah,
But yeah,
we'll
that
see.
was just like another one of those like passion for possibility, like dream scenarios that my mind cooked up. Was like, yeah, like fucking Trick getting one up on Mello after Mello thinks he's feeling himself. And it's like they've already been humiliating Mello at every turn. Why not do one that actually helps another black man rather than just constantly doing everything at the deficit of black men, Triple H? At least
No,
try. At least try to beat one allegation, please. God.
no. Did you cover your own face?
Yeah, could you tell?
Yeah, I could. It was kind of muffled at the end. Alright, let's get out of here because
Okay.
I have just some slight stuff to tend to before you and I could just vibe.
Okay.
Um, all right. So yeah, I'm at a 7. Thanks for killing Hope. That's great.
I'm at a
I'm proud of
6.5.
you. Wow. You nerfed yourself even a little. Oh my god. All right. All right. Time to put this to bed. Thank you guys so much for
Hanging out
joining
behind this
us.
fucking shed.
Not only were you a part of it, you won update. You can stay. All right. Leave a like as you file out. Subscribe, click the bell icon for notifications so you don't miss any of that TwitWow goodness. Check out everything we're involved in the description box. Follow us on Blue Sky and Twitch because we are the best wrestling podcast in all the AWC. And guys, it goes down tomorrow, 6 p.m. Eastern time. Which I mean,
Holy
they make it
fuck,
sound like
it's
this when
so
the show.
early.
Dude, I know. Like they make it sound like it's the actual show too. If it's just the kickoff bullshit, you're not going to see us go live. But if it is the actual show, we'll be there. It's wall to wall coverage this time. This
Yeah,
isn't
from what I
pulling my.
understand, it is the actual show, dude.
Yeah. So
I think the
like,
kickoff's at 5.
hey, I mean, bro, at the very least, then I would expect us to get out by like 9:30. Then probably no later than 10. So that's the good news, at
Yeah,
least.
I think 10 is a good goal.
Yeah. So yeah, join us then, and then after it's gonna be Rumble review, which I don't think will take too long. That's gonna be in lieu of weekend review because again, all of this TV that we've been getting has been the lead up to this. So we're just gonna review the culmination of their efforts, which from the sound of it is gonna be, eh. So we'll see you guys then. And yeah, until then, be good to yourselves and each other. Tune in and peace out.